Hi everyone, welcome to Unscripted Coding. Today I have a pretty short video for you. We're going to be talking about GPT-4 again, which of course is, synonymous with chat-gpt, natural language AI. It's the AI that allows you to speak in plain English, get a response in plain English, ask questions, tell the computer to do something with your text. This video is to set the record straight on some of the advantages and disadvantages of using GPT-4 as opposed to its previous version, GPT-3. You see, last week I did a video on using GPT-4, and we used it for a limited subset of tasks, some very simple constrained tasks. And that's when I pointed out GPT-4 may not be super great in that context. But in other contexts, GPT-4 is quite a step up over the previous generation. So, the cons, let's go through that again. If you have a very discrete task, please rewrite this text to be a little more formal, to be a little bit more friendly or casual. GPT-3 is great at that. And GPT-4 seems like a pretty lateral move. Not a lot better, not a lot has changed. And what's worse is that GPT-4 costs 10, 15, sometimes even 20 times as much as GPT-3. So if you're doing something fairly basic, GPT-3 does a great job. But where the newest version comes in is three areas that OpenAI has identified. Let's go through the first one, visual input. This is something that's not released yet. I haven't been able to test it out. But basically, GPT is becoming multimodal. It can accept different types of input, not just text, but in this case, also an image. So in this case, this is a great example. What can I make with these ingredients? Show a picture of a few things, and it'll respond in text. So it's definitely an evolution. GPT-3 does not accept images. It's not out yet, so I don't know what else, how good this is. The other one I wanted to talk about just off the side very quickly is this longer context. It used to be that GPT-3 had this short text. It's great when you're talking about email, when you're asking quick questions, but I have always been very interested in natural language AI for long documents. I'm in the legal field, so I've always wanted something to summarize legal decisions, to take academic papers and shorten them or ask questions about them without reading it. GPT-3's 4,000 tokens is very constraining. It means about 3,000 words. Most papers will go past that. Now GPT-4 is capable of handling over 25,000 words. That brings it to short novels. I think virtually all, I wouldn't say all, but many academic papers will fall below that. Many court decisions will fall below that. And so you're going to get a lot more flexibility. It's not infinite. It doesn't deal with all texts, but this is one that I'm quite excited about. But that's just a number issue. Where GPT-4 and where we're going to test today is creativity. And I've noticed this definitely, and this is why I wanted to showcase it. GPT-4 feels more clever, more witty in its responses when you ask it to write things. So if you're asking for a factual question, if you're asking for it to just summarize a block of text, really straightforward, you're not going to see that. But I have here OpenAI's Playground. If you take a look on the side right here, we have GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. So we're going to run a couple different prompts just to show you the differences. So I'm going to go with GPT-3 first. For those of you unfamiliar with this, this is the playground. You may have seen this playground, but when you're using GPT-4, you have to go to the chat and select the right model. You get to put in a system prompt, and that gives you a basic context. So you might write, you're a poet or you're a grade 6 student. It's not meant to provide a lot of guidance, but it's just a bit of context for GPT to work with. And then you start entering your prompts. In this case, I'm going to say, write a poem about the struggles of working in an office. Now, GPT 3.5 is the first time this was available. And I built a little bot that would write poems and put it up on Instagram. I stopped a short while over because, it sticks a few rhymes in there. It sometimes has some cleverness, but it's not really artistic. It's not really well done. So in this case, we're talking about struggles of working in an office. In the office, I sit all day, staring at a screen, come what may. Papers pile up, deadlines loom, my mind feels like an empty room. Goes on, but you can see it goes for the rhyme. You can ask for it to be written as a haiku or some other format, but it's a poem, and if you ask it a few times, it's going to have a very similar poem each time. If we throw this into GPT-4, however, you're going to see a lot more creativity here. In the land of cubicles and clicking keys, where the clock doth spin its weary web, and the tomes of toil do lay their siege, here lies a realm where dreams do ebb. So right away you can see they're using broader language. It is drawing a more vivid image. Even if I delete this, so office, sitting, staring at a screen, like, it's fine, it's clever, it works, but it's not really great poetry. And you can see this is the same theme. Sitting at a desk all day, papers piling, emails flood, deadlines approach, blah, blah, blah. Here, this is interesting. Land of cubicles, clicking keys, clock, tomes. And we'll delete this and run this one more time. Cubicle dwellers, gray maze of despair, hunched over rat races. It's really quite a bit of a jump with GPT-4. Okay, so that's poetry. I have another prompt right here. And we're going to write a paragraph for a short story that sets out the scene. It's set in England during the Industrial Revolution. Is that the right word? Industrial Revolution. Yes, I think so. So let's submit this. The air was thick with smoke, and the sound of machinery echoed throughout the streets of the industrial city. The buildings, tall and imposing, loomed overhead, casting shadows on the throngs of workers below. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have GPT-4 post something up. Amidst the rising smokestacks and the cacophony of clanking machinery, the once pristine English countryside had given way to a sprawling industrial landscape. The once lush, verdant fields now lay shrouded by a veil of smog as the sun bid farewell each evening, casting an eerie glow upon the ever-expanding factories. Again, I don't think there's much I need to critique here. There is just a massive jump. This is something that I might write as a very poor writer, and this is something that I can see finding in a book, maybe, something well written. So creativity definitely shines through. You can definitely see GPT-3 and 4. There is a big leap there. These are both kind of more creative tasks. I wanted to do one more test for you. Write an opening paragraph for a cover letter for a position as a junior web developer at Google. I see this a lot now. Apparently, people are doing, using chat-gpt to write resumes and cover letters. So I am curious how this goes. Dear hiring manager, I'm excited to apply for the junior web developer position at Google. As an experienced web developer, I am confident in my ability to contribute to the success of your team. Google has always been a company that I have admired, blah, 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 blah. Very standard, nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with any of the GPT-3 responses so far. But if I ask GPT-4 to do this, dear hiring manager's name, as an ambitious and innovative junior web developer with a passion for creating seamless user experiences, I am thrilled to apply for the junior web developer position at Google. I've always admired Google's commitment to advancing technologies and blah, 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 blah. So a lot more energy here. To be honest, I think this might be going overboard. I don't know. I would put this in a cover letter, but it's definitely better written than the GPT-3 version. And so what I wanted to do today was really show you guys a difference that, last time I kind of talked about the cons of GPT-4, but there are some really good reasons to use 4 over 3. I was building an app that I imagine thousands, tens of thousands of people were going to run through. Cost was a massive consideration, but it's also predictability, repeatability, speed. GPT-3 seems to fit the bill very, very well. Didn't need to mess with this, and you had to keep costs down. But the other use that I am starting to think of is using GPT-4 to write blog posts, to write LinkedIn posts. I've seen a lot of this online where you put kind of bullet points of what you want to talk about and have GPT put out a first draft. Now, I tried this when GPT-3 was very early, and it just wasn't very good. I suspect that 3.5 today would do a much better job, and I would have gone through that process. But I think that GPT-4 is going to make it very hard for people to spot that it reads very artistic, very articulate, much more so than I am, of course. And so I suspect it's going to be very, very convincing. So as I ramp down this video, I just want to do one more, right? The start of a blog post about the pros and cons of using GPT-4 over GPT-3. Write the first 2 paragraphs. Let's keep my costs down even for this video. So it's coming up with the title, and then it's writing. But yeah, as it gets more artistic, it's harder for people to find the similarities. I have a few teacher friends that are convinced they can figure out which students are cheating with chat-gpt because they run the same assignment through GPT and they see similar answers. I think that GPT-4 is going to have a lot more breadth, a lot more variety that makes it harder for them to catch. So it'll be very interesting to see. I am curious and I am excited to use this in different ways because nobody, I really hate writing blog posts. I have things I want to say, I have things I think are worth sharing, but actually taking those bullet points and ideas out and fleshing them out to text sometimes really, really sucks. So GPT-4, quite a big jump in some areas and not in others, and you got to pick the right tool. So we're going to keep playing with AI. That's the topic of the month, and obviously it's a major technology that you should keep an eye out for. We're going to keep playing around with it and highlighting useful things you can do. So thanks for watching, and I will see you folks next week.